Hey campers, George here, back in the man cave. Yep, Electricians knives. You guys sent me some to add to my Electricians collection. It's growing. These two need a quick cleanup. So, let's clean them up quickly and then add them to my collection. I'll show you some of my favorites. Let's check it out. So the other day you might have seen Connecticut Bob sent me a couple of Electricians. You know, I didn't have one and he sent me 4. None of them in my collections. So I got to work through them. This is one of them. Pretty cool. It's a colonial. The big thing is, it's totally different and it's got bolsters on the other side. Don't think any of mine have that. And then the other day, at the swap meet, I picked up this guy. Nothing special, right? The handle's a little different. I like the handle. But, yep, imperial. Don't have an imperial electrician. Well, I do now. So, we're going to head over to the bench quickly, give him a quick shine and sharpen, and then we'll add him to the collection. We'll have a quick look at it. It's growing. I'm really starting to like that. So, let's have at it. So we got this guy, very good condition. Bob obviously cleaned it up and even touched up the blade bit, I think. Nice and shiny, just needs a quick rub. Maybe with 10,000 will do the trick and clean the well and just polish it up. Some mothers, see if we can get these a little bit better. It's got some marks on it. I don't know if they'll come off. I don't know what this is. It's that plastic stuff. I have no idea what it is. But I really like this. The main reason is the bolster on the back. Typically, they don't have it. So that was different. That's why I like this guy. So let's clean him up. So I've got some 2000 grit here. It's been used. I'm going to use this very quickly just to get rid of, try and reduce some of the little scratches and that. And then we'll go to 10,000 and mothers. A bit rough on this side, so. Got a piece of 2000 here, once again, from you guys. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do half of this. Oh my. Always appreciate you guys doing this for me. Let's get this rubbed in. Taped it up because I'm working on the well and I need to hold it here. Blades. always remember that. To be honest, even if they're not sharp, they can still damage. So just do that to be safe. Let's get this in here. When you're doing this, remember you've got this lock. You don't want to bend that. Talking about the lock for the tool. It's basically a liner lock. You don't want to bend it, otherwise you're going to struggle to get it back to work. So be careful, don't push on it or things like that. When you're doing this, be careful of these plastic handles. If you rub too long, they warm up and get soft, and the dirt you're taking off goes into the handle and then it cools down. So keep that in mind, because you'll have to get it out again. This is 2000. I'm just quickly giving it a rub. You know, this is in really good condition, so quick rubs, try and get rid of some of the little nicks. Doesn't take a lot. And by the way, the higher the grit, the quicker it'll heat up, so remember that. Now I'm going to 10,000. Now I'm going to go over the handles. Like I said, be careful. The higher the grit, the quicker it warms up. So take your time and go slow. You can see we've got some marks on it. So and what happens is when you go over the metal like that, you bring that metal back on here. And like I said, if it's heated up, it's soft and it sinks in. Well, I've been there a couple of times, had to learn to slow down. You can see where it's come across there, but it'll wipe off, he says, allegedly. So we got rid of the little marks on there. Let's do this side. There you go. Nice and shiny. Ready to be sharpened, so let's take care of the next guy. So here we have the imperial guy, once again in pretty good condition, but there's some build-up on the blades that we need to get rid of, and we want to polish that, and of course the well needs some work. Nice veil on it. Surprising, the other one didn't have a bail, but no biggie. It's not a meant to apparently, so it goes without a bail. But this guy, we have a bail. So I think I'm going to go 1,000 on this guy, and let's get rid of this rough stuff, and then we'll go through the usual process. I won't show you everything, but I'll show you the end result. Now when you sand this stuff, you'll notice right away, you get to see where all the scratches are and everything. It really brings them out. You don't want to try and get rid of them because you're going to get really deep in there, but you want to at least calm them down. With 10 and then mothers. It's cleaning up nicely. This should shine up really nice with mothers. So there you go with the 10,000. And you can see the handle is starting to shine nicely. We'll put some light on the subject here. So it's cleaning up nicely. Now I'm going to do mothers, and hopefully it'll even bring it out more. It does have some damage on it. There's little nicks and that there, but no big deal. Adds character, right? There you go there. Look at that handle. Shined up nice. Very nice. Woot, imperial. My first one. What can I tell you? Well, they're both shiny. Let's sharpen them. Consistent edge, all the same depth in, and then you want that, feel that peel. You're good to turn it around. You're looking for that same edge again, same depth. You just want to be consistent. Try not to roll off the ends. Okay, that was 320, 800, same thing again. You want to feel that curl, the peel on the end. When you have that consistent peel, you can switch over to the other side. Time to strop now. The reason I strop, people ask me why I strop after sharpening at 800. Well, when I'm doing this last side here, sometimes I go a little bit too much and it builds a little edge on the other side. The stropping cleans everything up. And all I'm going to do is strop a couple of times. You just want to get that peel off. And you'll be able to feel it come off. It'll suddenly get smooth. Cutting paper really doesn't prove anything. It just tells you have a clean edge. If you don't get any catches or it sounds rough, you might just need to strop it a little bit more. A good test is you cut, come away, cut again. For a work knife, more than sharp enough. So there you go. I'll do the other one and then we'll check out the collection. All right, oiled them a little bit. I got some nice snap on them, ready to go into the collection. So here is that imperial that I found in that swap meet in Elko when I went with Keith and his nephew. Now you can see here, that's pitting from rust. Not a lot you can do with that. I mean, if you want to, you can sand it away. I'm not a big fan of that because you're really reducing your steel on your blade. But this, and they sharpened up nice. You know, sharpening, you would clean them like this and then sharpen them. Once you've sharpened them, you've been using them, it's get a little dull. You don't want to sharpen it again. You just want to go over it with the strop, and that'll clean that edge again. You can go, and you can do that a couple of times before you have to re-sharpen. Otherwise, you start to see your knife lose a lot of steel on the blades, and you see that with a lot of the older stuff. But this guy turned out really nice. The reason I like this guy, like I said, it's an imperial, and I do not have one. I didn't even know that Imperial made one. So very cool. And then there's this guy, and this is the Colonial. It came really clean, really nice, like a white handle. The main reason I like this knife was the bolster. This is the only one I have that has a bolster on the back, but it doesn't have a bail, which kind of makes sense. But very nice little knife, cleaned up really nice. Like I said, it was clean. This is the one that Bob sent me. Very cool. Look how pretty that thing is. Totally different, and it's a Colonial. Unfortunately, figuring out how old a Colonial is kind of hit and miss. You can go by the handle sometimes, the material, and I'm just not sure what this is, this material. Not the same as this. It's nowhere near. This is nowhere near as hard as that. So there's that. Let's add them to the collection, and I'll just go through a couple of my favorites. By the way, just about every electrician's knife has a hard stop on both the blade and the tool. And of course, it has the stop on the tool, not the blade. The reason is you're pushing this way with the tool, and it does have an edge on it. You don't want to be dropping that edge onto your finger. So that's the reason. So I bought a couple of these boxes to keep knives in. I was really running out of room and had to figure out how to do it. So I've actually gone by knife style. Some of them are by make, but typically most of them are by the style of the knife. And you can see in here, I have Electricians and Barlows for now. But as it fills up, so it'll just be an Electrician or a Barlow. And it works pretty well. So if you look, you see here, you can see all the Electricians. Now, I got a bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 18 in here. Now I know I have a couple elsewhere that I haven't got to yet, like Bob had sent me 4. Some of these are duplicates. For example, this one is a Klein & Sons. You can see it there, okay, and you see the HH there. I believe this is a Klein & Sons. I'm not sure. Let me check. Nope. That's an interesting one. You can see the handle's basically the same thing. Difference is it has an F here and an HH on the other one. That is really the only difference between them. If you look at them, there is one other difference. You see it? Pin, 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 pin. No pin. So a little different. That's the reason I have them. So for me, it's not really a duplicate. Those are Klein & Sons, and they've been around since forever, offering electricians' knives. This one, like I said, is something a little different, and it's a Craftsman. Very nice little knife, your typical electrician's knife. And here you go, no half stop. After I was bragging about all of them having it, that does. And it does have the lock. Now, you're probably seeing that most of them have a brass lock. That's typical. But some have just steel. So there's that. What's my favorite? My favorite electrician's knife is all of them. I can't pick a favorite. I mean, look how close these two are. Okay? Until you look really close. This is the one I just cleaned. Okay? It's the Imperial. And then look at this one. And it's slightly different, the material. This looks more wood than this does. It has a little bit of different colors on it. And this one, oh, you can't really see it, but I'll show you. It's actually another colonial, and colonial made a ton. But look at the handle on this guy, beautiful. And this one came out just as well, and that's the Imperial that I just did, which I don't have one. If you remember in that mail call, there was one of them was called an electrician's mate or electric mate. And if you look here, this says so as well. That one had no markings on it, just USA, I believe. But this one says Rick Knorr, and it says Boston, USA. Can you see that? It's basically the same knife, except it has that on the tang stamp. And yes, this one is made by Colonial under another name for Rick Knorr, which was a hardware style department store for the working man, tools, that sort of thing. And they made them for it, and they had that electric mate on it. So this one's a little different to the other one because it doesn't have Rick Knorr on it. Here's a typical wood handled one. Okay, and I believe I put the wood handle on. This is an Ulster, very popular. They made a lot of them as well. Real solid knife, very solid. It just looks tough. And actually I put this wood on. I can't remember what wood it is. I don't think it's ironwood, but who knows. And you can see that the lock on it is steel. So this was one that I think the handle was really beat up, so I replaced it. This guy here, look at that. Very nice, white handled, beautiful knife. And it's a Colonial. Here we have, this one says M. Klein and Sons. It's another Klein, kind of an older one, and it has this wood material. Very traditional, very cool. Brass, a lot of brass. Look at this handle. I think I showed you this already. No, I haven't. This, sentimental for me. It's a really nice looking knife. And yep, Calamus, you know what I mean. Beautiful knife. This handle is very nice, a lot of brass on it, your typical. Both have half stops. Very nice. Really like this one, but it's not so much as it's a nicer knife as it's a Camelus, because I can, of course, the TL29, I believe it is, the military version. Camelus made a bunch of them, and I got that from Bob out of Connecticut. I just got to clean it up and fix it. I have some unusual ones here. Let me find one. When I say unusual, all these have that specific blade, but then, you know, this happens. This is the blade, and this is Klein Tools. Now you'll see here, it's a little different. The tang stamp, it says Klein Tools with the M on the top and all that good stuff. That same sort of handle. But look at the blade. it's that, I don't know what you would call the style of blade. And it has your tool, everything has a half stop. But it's a different blade. Another camelus, different age, very nice. This is a little unusual. See this guy? The reason it's unusual, and you'll come across these, is look at the blade, right? And then you have the tool. And then you have the tool. It's a 3-blader. Not a lot of these out there, especially the older versions. But this one, as you can see, has that blade, 2 different blades, and the tool. And this is an Imperial Island knife. Kind of different. I thought I had another 3 tool for some reason. Can't seem to find it. Maybe I haven't got to cleaning it yet. So it's probably in my to-do cleanup. So there you go. A real quick look at my Electricians. Just showed you a couple of them. To be honest, most of them are colonial. Colonial produced a lot of them. They did a lot of advertising stuff, that sort of thing. They made a ton of knives. This one is another unusual one. And if you look at the tang stamp, it's Ontario knife. And I believe this one was made by Queen Knives for Ontario. But very nice. We added to it. We got more to do. I got a couple more, about 3 or 4 others I got to get to, that I don't like to put them in here until I clean them up. Of course, I do have my Barlows. Now, I like a Barlow. I think for an everyday carry, for any gentleman, lady, whatever, it is a really, really good knife to carry. And that's what it was designed for. So Barlows are very popular. And of course, you can get a Barlow and an Electrician. You know, a Barlow knife that's got the Electrician's blades on it. So very cool. Another cool addition. Love getting stuff from you guys. You know, my followers, you guys, YouTube made a comment that I should do something because I have a very loyal following. Talking about you guys. And you know, YouTube's interesting. There's a lot to it, and I've been looking at making some changes to my channel. YouTube's given me some ideas. There's other reasons and whatever, but like I said, you guys really, a lot of the knives I own now are gifts from you guys. You know, they're not just random knives. You're giving me knives that I really like. I might have mentioned that I love the style or whatever, and bam, next mail call, here comes a couple of them. So really appreciate the support. On my budget, man, it's tough to come up with all these knives, and you guys help me out a lot. You're appreciated. Just saying. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Pretty sure I'll be back. Like I said, I got Electricians knives, I got Barlows, I got a lot of stuff going on. Next up, I am about to start doing some sheaths. I'm going to make a couple of sheaths and slips for some knives. I'm trying to come up with 3 particular sizes: a large, average, small, that I can just use that'll fit all my knives, because doing each one individually takes forever. But I can do 3 or 4 of the same size at the same time. It's just so much easier for me. And of course, storing knives in a sheath is never a good thing, especially here in the cottage. Very humid. This is the wet room. And so I have things like these things. This is a dehumidifier. I have an air purifier, that sort of thing. I have to have that. As you saw in my box here, I have tons of these in my boxes to keep the moisture out. Older knives typically are steel, not stainless, just your regular carbon. and they rust up in a hurry. So this helps in keeping them sealed. If you put them in a sheath, leather sucks up moisture, so there's that. But I can make myself a bunch of standard size slips and sheaths. I decide I want to carry a knife, I can just grab one of the sheaths or slips, put it in there, and off I go. So that's what I've been doing. I need to make some more. I'm thinking about doing more leather. I'd like to build up a little stash of that, maybe do some giveaways with some slips and that. We'll see. I have plans, just struggling with it right now to figure it all out. But you all be safe out there. Just saying. Thanks for watching. Always appreciate it. We'll see you again soon.